over the past few years, Sweet Baby Inc. has dug their claws into many video game releases, and unfortunately, every single one that they highlight on their webpage has been highly criticized, but now their employees are melting down over the backlash to their awful Suicide Squad game. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. Now, I absolutely love the Arkhamverse, it is fantastic, but this Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game was a complete and utter disaster. The team that is now at Rocksteady who worked on this game really had no idea what made the past Arkham games so popular and led to the point where it is such a beloved franchise, but of course one of the major problems with it is the writing. The characters are very cringy, a lot of the dialogue is just cringy. And the story in general really was pretty lackluster, but of course we found out pretty early on into the project's development that Sweet Baby Inc. was helping with this game, and not, just minor things, right? They had a say in what the final product turned out to be. They worked on script writing, which was banter, cutscenes, barks, audio logs, etc. So they, had a big part when it came to the dialogue in this title and the writing, and unfortunately this game is getting slammed by almost everyone. I have seen very few people on social media praising this game. The scores on things like Metacritic are awful. Suicide Squad refunds searches on Google have went up 800% since release. People are just not happy with this experience. I live streamed a whole playthrough and it was one of the worst games I have played, but of course now we have some of these employees melting down because of the backlash. Now, like I always say, when you are on social media and you are airing your thoughts to the public, people are allowed to criticize you. If you cannot take the heat, get out of the kitchen, because that's one way to make yourself sleep better at the end of the day. Not look at what people say on social media about, let's be honest, your really dumb takes. And that's what's happening now. Instead of just accepting the fact that people did not like this game, do not like this game, and are not impressed with the creation, they are now, fighting back against consumers. And I'm sure this will not come as a surprise to many of you, but I am blocked by all of these individuals. None of them want to have a conversation because, of course, when you criticize their work, they take it personally, which you should never do on the internet. But there was a article put up by IGN. It says a lot of fans are hopping mad about Batman's role in Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and rightly so. Here's why Kevin Conroy's Batman is wasted in the game. I personally feel like this Batman was wasted in this game. I will stick by this. I think what they should have done was had the entire Justice League go bad, but then maybe during the Superman boss fight, spoiler alert, during the Superman boss fight, Batman should have showed up, right? Because at that point in the story, we all thought that Batman was either dead or he was basically MIA, right? The public thought that he had been dead because of Nightfall Protocol. And so what they should have done was they should have played it, oh, he's dead, 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 and then he shows up during the Superman fight, and you could have killed him off. You could have killed off Superman and Batman at the same time in this giant fight. He helps the Suicide Squad, but ultimately, in the end, they win because of Batman's help. I'm not against killing off fan favorite characters, because I love the Arkhamverse, and before now, we thought that he was dead or was most likely dead, even though it was already planned by him and Alfred, but the public thought that he was dead. And so there was plenty of ways that they could have killed him off in what felt like a respectful way to end his story, and that's just not what they did. But instead of accepting, hey, this story isn't going to be for everyone, these individuals are freaking out, saying Kevin was our teammate and many of us worked with him directly for years. I would expect game journalists to know that and understand how callous it is to use his memory to stoke hatred. IGN was not stoking hatred here. They simply are giving their opinion that Kevin Conroy's Batman was wasted in this game. That's not disrespectful to Kevin Conroy, to his legacy, to this Batman. It's not hateful, it's simply them going, there is a better way to tell this story, and many people agree that is not hatred. And while Kevin Conroy might have went along with the project and obviously signed up for it, voiced all of these lines, and ultimately liked it, we are still allowed to have an opinion on that. And of course, she is not the only individual. Here's another employee, they/he, previously at Tunic Game, Panic, now consulting at Sweet Baby, and because that's exactly what we need in this world. I'm so mad they killed the billionaire who turned evil that I'm going to show how racist I am is honestly a pretty funny take to me. Now, this individual, Felix, is basically saying that people are being racist towards members of Sweet Baby Inc. because they did not like how they killed off Batman. And of course, I do not condone any sort of death threats or threats to people's safety, because of course that is obviously crossing a line, but you're saying that people are being racist towards you, and I tried to skim through a lot of tweets and I really did not see that on any of their tweets, so maybe they're getting them in DMs. But of course, when you say that people are being super racist towards you and you are blaming people publicly, like you're airing this on social media, you probably should show some sort of proof so that we're not going, oh, you're just trying to guilt trip people into not criticizing your work. And then, of course, he brought up, Kevin Conroy saying, hello, press, can we not invoke a tragically dead man's name as if the devs knew he would die, and this would be his last performance? Can we simply not act as if anyone planned this? Also, he isn't around to tell you how he feels, so maybe do not. I haven't really seen anybody saying Kevin Conroy would have hated this. I just see people saying, I hate what you did with Kevin Conroy's Batman, and of course, that's using his name, but that's not using his name and using him and what would have been his opinions in order to push their own narratives or push their own points. The only people that are using a dead man's name to push their narratives are these individuals, because they are using it as a shield right now, saying, oh, you can't criticize us and you can't criticize this project because he has passed away now, and by using his name you're invoking him and you are disrespecting him. I just don't agree with that. Again, nobody is disrespecting him or his legacy. I still think he did a fantastic job, and he is one of the best moments. His performance is one of the best moments in this entire shit show of a game. And yes, people are still allowed to be disappointed in a product and the direction that you took this creation in just because he's passed away. And it's pretty obvious that it's more than just a handful of people who are upset with this game, because as you can see over on Metacritic, it's currently sitting at a 59 critic and a 3.8 user score, which is just abysmal. A 3.8 is honestly one of the lowest scores I've seen for a game in quite a while. Obviously very reminiscent of Lord of the Rings Gollum and, King Kong Skull Island, but this game was one that people, were actually hoping was going to turn out to be half decent, because it is a continuation of the Arkhamverse, and it ended up being a complete and utter nightmare. I personally hated it. I know many other people hated it, and of course, it just was not the direction. A lot of us were hoping that they were going to take this story and all of these characters in, and they really did a disservice to the Arkhamverse. Of course, these are only just two individuals who work at Sweet Baby Inc. out of, we're sure, hundreds. It's not like a lot of these people seem to have social media, because it is actually kind of hard to find Sweet Baby Inc. employees on Twitter/X, but it will be interesting to see if anybody else comes out and talks about this, if any of the Rocksteady developers actually make a lot of fuss on social media. I know a lot of them last week said that they were basically going MIA and leaving social media for a little while until after the game had launched, because they didn't want to, partake in any sort of negativity that was spreading across the internet, because let's be honest, people have been criticizing this game for months, ever since we saw the initial teasers and trailers for it. But it'll be interesting to see if any of these other people come out, talk about this game, and ultimately try to attack consumers for simply criticizing the full price $70 AAA product that they released. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.